there's a lot of people who are predicting economic collapse. Like right now, like it's gonna happen like within this next month or something. And I know I've said this before, so if you watch some of my videos, you know, you're repeating what I've said before. You know, they're contributing, people having to pay student loans back and thinking that they're just going to start paying them back. And in reality, they're just, a lot of people are probably going to default. Well, yes, some are going to try to figure out a way to pay back the debt and maintain their current lifestyle. But that's going to be really, really hard for a lot of people. See, the problem with a lot of Americans is a lot of them haven't ever... Now, there's a lot of them that have, but they don't know what it feels like to accept a lower standard of living, to regress their spending habits, to be more smart about what they spend their money on. And right there, that's a lot of pain and suffering onto them. I know it sounds weird for a regular person to, you know, a regular working class person to be like, dude, it's just a Netflix subscription, or it's just you're buying less alcohol, you're not going out to eat as much. I mean, yeah, you go home and eat. It's like, but these people are used to this lifestyle. So for them to have it taken away, it feels like they're going into a Great Depression. I just don't think that we're going to go... We have too many resources compared to back to the 1930s, 1929. And a recession or a depression won't be the same as it was back then. Because people are so soft and we have so many different resources now compared to back then. An abundance. So, like, a depression back then was like, you're lucky if you get to eat that day. 25% unemployment. You have more of a community. But there's no way in hell that our government or the elites can ever go through another depression. Like, if we were to go through a depression like that mirrored the 1920s, like that kind of collapse, a lot of people would die. And also, people would revolt, because it would be way worse. If we went through something like 1930s with having no community and people not knowing how to, like, take care of themselves, like raise food or do anything like that, you will have complete Mad Max chaos. It would be like the Purge. So there's no way that they can allow that, and think that they're just going to come out of it unscathed. Because people will, when they have nothing left to lose, like people still have stuff to lose. I mean, even though we're living through high inflation right now, they still have food in their bellies. They still have electricity. They still have basic things that, you know, they might not be living high on the hog like they were. But, you know, as long as people have bread and circus, they're not gonna do nothing. Now, if that bread and circus gets taken away, people will have to people will have to I said people will revolt at that point if there's no bread and circus, because they won't have anything to distract them. They won't have anything to they won't have nothing left to lose. And the government knows this. The government and the elites know this, and they know that if they let it turn to shit, if they actually let things turn to shit, they will be the targets. I'm like, these rich people, like, not all of them will be able to go to these islands and like New Zealand or whatever. Like, people will find them and act out in revenge or some, like, that's human nature, man. People will find these people, and like the people who are directing us to World War III or nuclear annihilation, like, you're not gonna survive, you know. Like, people will rise up, and if you destroy everything and lots of people suffer and die, like, those people who are suffering outnumber you immensely. And what happens is, like, you could have like a good security team, but if the money doesn't mean anything, those security people who you're paying money, they ain't gonna fucking protect you. Because, like, the money doesn't mean anything. And if we go to like, I made a video like this, a short making fun of elites. Like, you go into a bunker, why would the alpha guy listen to you? When the money doesn't mean nothing, they'll just take. Like, what are you gonna do to stop them? Because influence is huge, man. Influence is, and the elites know this, and that's what they're afraid of losing. They're afraid of losing their influence on people, because they know, like, what's normal. People will just follow blindly, and they won't really question it. Like it's like the monkey experiment where, you know, where they had the bananas, and they kept introducing and taking one out at a time, where these monkeys, you know, the experiment is basically they're conditioning these monkeys to not go up and get the bananas with self like social order. Like, every time a monkey would go up, they would get doused with cold water. So, like, whenever they introduced a new monkey and took out an old one, the new monkey went right for the bananas, and then the other monkeys just beat their ass. So, like, this is the collective holding themselves. It's like now, like, you know how you go out and wear a Trump hat or something like that, people look at you weird. Some people won't be, but it's like the stigma towards it. It's like if you go wear a MAGA hat in Seattle or something, and see, you know what I mean? Like, something like that. You're probably going to get attacked. So it's just, what is it, the inmates policing themselves, pretty much. And that's, you know, like, just creating social norms. Even if the social norms don't make any sense in reality, if the big group of people believe it and it's normal, the majority of people, then, like, even if it sounds completely absurd, like that movie, what is it called? Damn it! It was made by Mike Judge. Well, basically, the people they couldn't grow any plants because they kept trying to feed their plants with like some type of like Monster type of or Red Bull type of substance, and they wouldn't grow them. So everyone believed that it would grow, the plants would grow, but they wouldn't. So like some dude's like, hey, use water, and then it starts growing. Well, when he brought that up, everyone's like, no way, you're stupid, you're dumb. Even though like that's the correct way, and it's absurd to use like Red Bull to try to grow fucking plants. But the stigma, the social stigma of the mass group makes him like think he's crazy. You know, like there's this experiment where there was one person in it, I think, and then like they would be like, what's the correct answer, A, B, and C? And then like the group intentionally, they're all fake, they said the wrong answer intentionally, to see if this one person will follow the crowd. And a lot of the times, I think it was like 70% of the time, they did this experiment in like the 70s or whatever, they said they went along with it because they didn't want to, even though they knew the answer was wrong, they didn't want to go against the crowd because they cared what they thought too much. So that's the power of influence. If you can make people believe something, even if it's absurd, and it's like normalized, like it's okay. Like if they influence everyone to believe that it's healthy for our economy or our government to have corrupt politicians be able to have insider trading, and that's cool, and that creates a healthy government for everybody. If they were to make everyone believe that with the power of the propaganda and the media, people would go along with it, and they wouldn't question it either. Because most people aren't really worried about, dude, when you're raising a family and you're trying to put food on the table and you're worried about your own life, like, you're not really worried about politics that much. You're not really worried about social decay or social breakdown. You're not worried about the environment unless like it directly affects you. If everything seems to be like normal for pretty much, you know, you have food, you got water, you got shelter, like your house isn't getting blown up, it's pretty much, you know, and this is where a lot of boomers think everything is okay. Unless you're like directly affected by something very negative, like you're not gonna go against the majority of the group, because you want things to keep going on and going on, same old, not knowing that if we keep on going on this trajectory, we're headed right off a cliff. And by the time like most people wake up and realize, oh man, like this whole time I could have been eating bananas, and we're just sitting here because like everybody else is telling us to stay and just keep, you know, to leave the bananas alone. No, all it would have taken, like in that experiment, all it would have took is one monkey to be like, I'm gonna go up there and get the banana, and then not turn on the cold water and spray them, and then all the rest of the monkeys would have followed. So a lot of times it takes one strong voice, one big decisive action to get people to like wake up or like think like, wow, that's crazy. So we've been doing this the whole time, and we could have been having a ton of crops instead of using Red Bull. We could have just been using water, which is way more cheaper too, and we wouldn't have had famine this whole time. And even if something is like, it seems like it's out of the box, like thinking outside the box, but it worked before, because things have deteriorated so much where people just, like, absurdity is normal now. Like, you know, people are so conditioned to believe that, you know, everything will be okay if we just keep printing money and you know, like, oh, my retirement will be fine, or my 401k will be fine. Like, my 401k ain't going nowhere. When they keep on, like, when the only thing they could do is hyperinflate the currency, what do you think is going to happen to your 401k or wherever you got cash sitting? Because that's the end goal, man. The end goal is hyperinflation, because that's what happens to all currencies, fiat currencies, is they get hyperinflated. They can only hold back reality so long until the floodgates open, and then people are like, what the dude, why does it cost $20 for a gallon of milk? I can't afford this. And there's just no stability. There's somewhat stability right now. If you aren't starving and you're able to pay your bills and you keep on going on, you're surviving this, it's stable. Unless you're being attacked, you know, by criminals or whatever.